Tommy Reynolds has his gun out. He's pointing the gun, and all of a sudden, I see this woman.
They say it's on every single station. They're saying that Daddy died.
He said there was an accident and your father is no longer with us.
In real life, I'm not like that.
And the Mario test was disgusting.
One night I jumped out of a car doing 60 miles an hour because I was addicted.
Salute, Mob Tube.
Salute, Mob Tube. How is everybody tonight? See, we got some people in here so far. I'm looking forward to this. This is a guy who is a subscriber. He got a hold of me not too long ago. And, he told me his story and stuff. He said he wasn't looking for an interview or anything. I said, would you mind doing one anyway? Because I think he has a really good story. Plus, I love interviewing actors that have been in some of our favorite mob movies, and he is one of them. He did some acting as a young man and as a child, and he was in a couple of movies, and he's going to talk to us about all that. He also was a DJ, and he's got some real life stories he wants to tell us. So I'm looking forward to hearing his whole story, and I hope you guys are as well. So let me welcome Paul Perri. What's up, Paul?
Chris, how you doing, FBS? Thanks for having me on your show. Appreciate it as a fan and as a supporter.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming on. I think this is going to be good.
Yep. Yeah, I believe so too, man. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, do you want to start off by telling us just a little bit about your childhood, how you grew up, and then we'll get into how you got into the movies and stuff.
Yeah, sure. So I'm born and raised in the Bronx, northern.
In the what?
The Bronx.
In the Bronx, B?
Bronx. Represent BX 718. So
all right.
let me get that out of the way. So I'm born and raised in the Bronx, 39 years. I grew up in Pelham Parkway, which is a very nice area. It's quiet, very community based. But I hung out predominantly on Arthur Avenue with my friends at 187th and Beaumont. That was like our little hangout, our little slice of heaven in the Bronx. Yeah. Typical kid. I come from a family of three. I'm the middle child, so I'm the black sheep of the family. My brother is a very successful vice president in a bank firm, which I won't mention, but he's very successful in that. He does very well. He's a highly intelligent guy. As we joke around, him and I, he's a typical older brother, beat the living hell out of me. We'd go at it and then make up and hug each other. That was a typical Italian brotherhood. I have a younger sister, also very intelligent, worked with children, disabilities, and teaching. Right now, she's raising her my niece, which is awesome. Come from a loving family. My parents were divorced when I was a teenager, which kind of spun things for myself. Really, everybody reacts in their own way when the family dynamic is thrown off, especially when you come from a very traditional Italian family. And it, everybody kind of does their own thing. Some people will shut off. I tended to lash out in my own way. And I'll get to that a little further, with hanging out on the wrong side, hanging out with people you shouldn't, a lot of undesirables. But I wouldn't change a thing because one of the things that I learned, besides the fact of book smarts, is street smarts, which has gotten me to this level of my life, which I've come to notice. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Having the ability to read people, it's real hard to get one over on me, knowing that. My grandfather, may he rest in peace, was my mentor. He grew up on 116th and Pleasant, and he served World War II. The guy had, and I hate to use language, balls of steel. The guy served in World War II, got out, next day got a job, went right to work, didn't want to sit around, wait around. And he was very educated, but very street smart. The kind of guy that I used to often joke around. I used to say, Pop, you a wise guy or something? Because like you just the way you'd come to him with a problem, this man would explain it to you like an old timer. And I got to be around the old timers in the neighborhood, and very wise guys. They, no pun intended, but wise in the sense that they would kind of tell you that before reacting, you should observe all aspects of a problem before reacting. Reaction should be the last resort. Because let's face it, how many times can we say where we've been angry, and when you act on passion, you're acting on emotion. You're not acting on common sense or actual intelligence. So that was one thing I took from him, which, I loved the guy. He was very near and dear to me.
Well, that's good advice. I could use that myself right about now. So
you're a straight arrow, bro. You're a good guy. You're a good guy.
So how about the movies? A Bronx Tale was first, correct?
Yes. So leading to A Bronx Tale, I was always a ham in school. We had a talent show. I used to do impersonations. I still do them. My friends used to love me prank phone calling people. That's how it kind of got started, with doing the impersonations of people's voices. Sometimes I'd be spot on. Sometimes I'd be so off. So,
well, hold on. I got to ask.
Yes,
I don't want to interrupt you, Paul, but can you do one for us?
Oh, geez. One of my clubs, I'll do one of my clubs because we have a lot of British guys. I'm into ham radio. Yeah, go figure. So we have a lot of British guys, so I'll tend to mess with them. So, Jaya, are you quite all right with your bum? Is it raw? Giving a good shagging on the trolley, I love? Is it making you shake it in your knickers, we'll mess with these guys. And I'm also known
That's
for
good.
Michael Caine. Sir Michael Caine, with FBS on his show, saluting him with mob tube and horse grading. We salute you, FBS, Sir Michael Caine.
Not bad.
And then I can go to walking if you want, but that's just.
Oh, walking! Come on, I gotta hear some walking.
Well, FBS, you kind of put me on the spot here. I come on your show to discuss my life as you see it, but I don't want a mockery. I'm a simple guy with simple things.
That is excellent. Holy wow, man.
And I'm tired right now. I had a long day at work. If you got me revved up with an espresso, I'll start going nuts.
No, that was terrific, man. All three of them were great, but the walking, that's fantastic.
Listen, it gets old quick, as my wife will say. I start busting the chops. So with the impersonations and stuff, I was a character as a kid. My mother said I used to watch stuff on TV, and people, like, we'd be in a waiting room. They'd be like, what the hell's wrong with your kid? Is he possessed? Because I'd be imitating, doing all kinds of voices. It was funny as hell. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's psychological. Some of my friends will tell you Paul's whacked out of his mind, but I guess that's what makes me unique. So back, use what you got. So back to the Bronx Tale opportunity started where there was a ad in the Bronx Times and the New York Times regarding Robert De Niro is putting together a film, directorial debut, and they're looking for young Italian Americans from the neighborhood to audition. So my mother instantly was like, I'm taking you. I'm not asking you, I'm just taking you. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And I was nervous. And nice. I like this guy. He's quoting, come on, that's my movie, man. King of New York.
Yeah. Frank White.
That's it. Meet me at the plaza. I went to the audition, and there was a gentleman by the name of Mike Greco, great guy. The Belmont Playhouse is where Chaz Palminteri actually did his one-man show of A Bronx Tale. So, that was like very big to be in the house where Chaz started for all of us. So I went for the audition, and they immediately, apparently, they liked me because they were like, okay, do the line again, but this time do it angry, do it funny. Okay, we want you to sit and wait, and we're going to do the rest of the people. We're going to call you in. So now I'm sitting outside waiting 2 hours. And, as a kid, I'm like, well, what the hell is going on in here? So they called me back in. They spent about another hour and a half with me. And they were like, do you have any messages for De Niro? So I was like, okay. I remember Cape Fear. So I was like, come out, wherever you are, Mr. De Niro. Which was funny for a 10-year-old to do. Probably not a good movie for a 10-year-old to watch, but whatever. I had cool parents. My parents are cool like that. So I get the call to come down to Tribeca. And they said, you're going to have a rehearsal. So I was like, okay, this is fun. Unbeknownst to me, they're like, okay, Bob's ready for you. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What do you mean Bob's ready for me? And at that time, I ran into Patrick Borriello, Francis, and I forget his last name. It's going to come to me, who's Lil C. And I'm like, what the frig is going on over here? And who the hell is Bob? Who the hell is Bob? It's De Niro. He comes out, and I'm like, you're starstruck because it's Robert De Niro. I'm 10 years old. I'm like, that's like the world stopped for me. And, he puts his hand out. He says, oh, come here. How you doing? Gentle as like a kitten. Gives me a hug. How you doing, Paul? Oh, pleasure to meet you. Hey, your tapes were hysterical. So would you feel comfortable to sit down and do the scene? Can I get you anything? Would you like McDonald's? I remember that. He wanted to get us McDonald's. I was like, nah, I'm good. I was like, because in the back of my head, I'm like, if I eat McDonald's, I'm going to throw up in this guy's office from the inside. So, no, thank you. Thank you, but no, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Very polite. We did the scene.
I don't want to interrupt, Paul, but that is a winning comment right there. He can do walking, he can do cane, but he can do
see what I mean? And that's what goes on. These guys, this is my cousin's fucking asshole. I can't do coffee cake. I won't, but you know what? Good, because the royalty checks keep coming in because of that. So that's a good thing.
Thank you for that super chat, by the way.
It's my cousin Dom he's in Florida. He's a good guy. So we do the scene. It's great. We have a great time doing it. And he goes just like this, nonchalantly. He goes, okay, guys, so I'm going to talk to your parents about when you're going to come on the set and we're going to do this film. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? I didn't say it as a kid, but I'm like, what's going on here? And next thing you know, my mother's like, they're talking, my parents talking with him and someone else. And they get in the car. My mother, I'll never forget, because my mom is a very gentle, sweet person. My dad is off the boat, zip, hyper. So my mom's just like, we're going to talk in the car. And she's grinning like the Kool-Aid man, cheek to cheek. So I get in the car. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Like, what do I have to another rehearsal or something? And she's like, you got the part. That's it. I was like, what do you mean? She was like, yeah, you'd come in 3 weeks. You're rehearsing. They just gave us a script. I have 3 scripts in my house. I have the alpha, I guess you want to call it, the beta, and then the final cut, which I got autographed by everybody. Get down to, of all places, which not too many people know this, it was not filmed in the Bronx. The whole movie was shot in Astoria, Queens. And they made it look like Arthur Avenue. I mean, down to the T. It really looked like Arthur. And, working with Patrick, he's a great guy. We all clicked as the kids. We had a great time. We jokes, busting balls on set. The older versions, like Joe D'Onofrio, Lilo Brancato, Louis, who played the older version of me. Just great guys. Louis, you'd catch him kind of straying off, and then next thing you know, you hear Frank Sinatra in the background because he sings. And you'd be like, what the hell is going on in this place? Like, this place is an animal farm.
He's good.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, so it's crazy for me too. Like, this is a trip for me because you were Little Mario. I interviewed Louis Venario, which was older Mario, I guess you could say, crazy Mario. Joseph D'Onofrio, who plays Slick. Patrick Borriello. I interviewed Lilo Brancato. So I don't know if there's anyone left out of you guys to interview. Huh?
You got Francis, if you could track him down.
Oh, that's right. Little
I'll try to help
Cologena.
you. I don't know where he is though. I mean, I keep in touch with Patrick on Instagram, and the same thing with Joe D'Onofrio and Lilo. But if I track him down, I'll be sure to send him your way. You know?
Yeah, I looked him up once. Yeah, because he's the only one left. I guess I got little Mario. I got teenage Mario. I got little Slick. I got teenage Slick. I got Cologena. Who am I leaving out?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You got. I'm telling you, little C, Tara. If you're able to get her, Tara Hickson, she's a very talented actress. She was in Belly. She went on to do a lot of stuff. She was, Lilo's counterpart in that, the romantic counterpart.
Yeah, they did. They did an interview together with Michael Franzese, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct. They did. And I watched that. It was very good. It's nice, it's nice to see that there's still that same, and that's the way that chemistry was between them. I don't know if you watched it. That's how it was on set. It was very personal, like very family. It's hard for me to describe. It felt like being at a family function because there was pranks all the time. We would play pranks on the older versions. They'd play pranks on us. We'd play pranks on other people. It was just a good time, like a lot of fun. One thing I'll tell you, and this is no offense to Louis, you're a great guy in my heart. To you, bro, I love you. My nose, I mean, although I do got a pretty big Italian nose, they had to cast my face, and I had a fake nose to simulate Louis, because Louis has a very robust Italian nose. So to give me his nose, I had to be in this cast for, I think it was like 8 hours. We're breathing through a straw, and then they would put on this fake nose and blend it in. I actually have it in storage. It's hysterical.
Wow.
So yeah, it was it was funny. It was funny as hell. The guys used to bust my chops all the times on the set.
Yeah, I bet.
Now you can't leave. In fact, that scene, I'm underneath the table. I'm underneath the table with Little C and Patrick, with Francis and Patrick, while they were filming the bar fights.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was amazing because you're a 10-year-old kid. You're gonna see a bunch of guys beating the living shit out of Hell's Angels. I mean, you have a front row seat at that. It was amazing. It was just amazing. And then to see that they shot certain things in slow motion to make it look like it was aggressive beatings. I mean, it was something out of this world. It was just one of those experiences that was just like bizarre. And, it was great. It was a great time. One of the things that was cool is my older brother that I had mentioned earlier. De Niro and Chaz were really cool with the sense they'd be like, hey, bring your family down when you film. You like the feel? Oh, Jimmy Calandra likes my Fila jogging suit. I'm honored now. I'm honored. I just received an honor. Jimmy, I could die a happy man now. You just gave me a blessing on one of my feelers. I wore this. A friend of mine told me to wear one of my jogging suits. I got to frame this. That's awesome. Thank you, Jimmy. That's dope. That's awesome. What was I saying? De Niro and Chaz would say, bring your family down. I want to meet your family. And they literally gave people parts. They gave my older brothers, one of the kids in the beginning montage. He jumps on. You're the best, Jimmy. God bless you, man. You're the man. My brother jumps on the back of the bus. He's one of the kids that jumps on the back of the bus with De Niro. That's his claim to fame. My brother will sit and he'll meet you, and in half an hour he'll tell you, I was in a Bronx tale. He'll bring that stuff and then he's like, yeah, my brother Paul, he was in it too. He played Young Crazy Man. Like, I'm like, yo, listen, come on, man. Like, you know, let's work our way into the acting. But my dad, my actual father, is in the Bronx Tale with me. After the shooting, the parking space, they do a close up. It's very quick. It's about 2 seconds. But the man right next to me is my actual father. They were real big in that, like getting your family involved as extras and stuff. Like they wanted that, like to get everybody involved. No, my brother wasn't in Baytop in '96. My brother never did narcotics. You
No,
never.
I don't know if that. I'm not even sure if that was meant for you. To be
Oh,
honest,
I'm sorry. I apologize. Man.
sometimes there's conversations going on in the
Oh,
chat here that.
no, I apologize. I didn't know if that was directed to me. So no offense and none taken
No,
on
it's
this
all
time.
good.
So you know that was a great dynamic. The rap party was amazing. We were at Club USA.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. The screening was insane. I met Harvey Keitel that night. I got to hang out. Harvey Keitel, Christopher Walken, Keith Hernandez. Who was the other? This one guy like stood out like a sore thumb. I'm trying to remember his name. He was in. Oh yeah. He was in Everybody Loves Raymond. He's an older gentleman. He passed away. He was also in the Dream Team. He's an older man. He was in Taxi. You know, opposite of De Niro. He's like trying to sell him the guns.
Yeah.
I got to hang out with that guy. What a funny guy, man.
That is one of my favorite scenes when he's
Yeah.
selling him the gun, when they're in the room and he's selling him the guns. Yeah, I love that.
You know what I mean? That's something out of this world. Well, he's the guy who hooks him up with the black market guns dealer. If you go back and look, I mean, I could Google his name, which, you know, might as well just do it now while we're talking. I hate to cheat, but, you know.
Peter Boyle?
There you go. Peter Boyle. That was it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I apologize for not knowing his name. I should. But Peter Boyle, yeah, what a great guy. Hysterical. What a ball buster. Like, just the stuff they were joking around the 10-year-old was just amazing.
Well, he's a legendary actor too. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. But one of the people that I have to say was one of the most down-to-earth, awesome guys, Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel
Really?
was so awesome. Yeah, man. I got pictures with him. He's picking me up. He's talking to me. He's like, I was telling him, you know, I watched Bad Lieutenant. He was like, you watched Bad Lieutenant? He goes, how old are you? I was like, I'm 10. I was like, I watched it with my dad. He goes, I don't know if that's an appropriate movie. I said, but you were amazing. He goes, well, thank you. But, you know, it's a little bit of a rough movie. But again, good times. You know, good times. Those great times. And that led me into the movie The Funeral, where I got to play Christopher Walken as the younger version of Raymond. And in that, there was you got to understand, there was scenes in a Bronx Tale that got cut. There was a scene where we're supposed to be gambling, flipping cards and smoking cigarettes. Jimmy, if I had that connection with Harvey still, I would definitely pass that message along. I mean, the compliment about my jogging suit, you could do no wrong now in my book. You know, we basically, with that being said, like with everything, it was, there's a lot of stuff that didn't make it, which sucked because there was so many good scenes. There's a scene where we're riding bikes and we get into a fight in the neighborhood, but it never made it. You know, there's just too much. So, yeah, that was, you know, before I ramble on, I don't know if you have any other questions you want to ask me about Bronx Tale.
Well, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. The reason, you know, and I always talk about this, the reason it's so fascinating to me to interview you guys that were part of that is because I don't know how you look at it or if you, I'm sure you understand the relevance and the importance of that movie. Like everything we do on here obviously is mob related or it's about the movies that are centered around the mob, stuff like that. And that is without a doubt one of the best and one of the, you know, the most classic legendary films about so to be a part of that, it's like I can't even imagine what it's like for you guys. And having interviewed like Patrick and Lewis and Joseph and Lilo, and now you, it's just amazing to me because, you know, I was 13, 14 years old when I saw Bronx Tale, and I've been watching it ever since. You know what I mean? It's an amazing movie. So to hear about the way you guys, would interact on the set and stuff like that, and what it was like for you to meet Robert De Niro and Chaz and these guys, and even like what you just talked about, the scene when, like, I didn't even know you and Patrick were right there when that bar scene took place, the bar fight scene. I mean, it's just fascinating to me, man. So, it's an honor to interview all you guys. And
Thank you.
yeah, and I'm sure you've got, I mean, those memories will last you a lifetime, right?
It's one of the best moments in my life, if I could say. It was a great life experience. It's like one of those things that, you know what, it's on the bucket list, it's down. And it's like you can never recreate that I guess that feeling of being a kid and being like, holy shit, I'm in a movie. I'm in a damn movie. I'm acting. I'm acting in front of Robert De Niro behind the lens. Chaz Palminteri's over there, and I also got to meet Joe Pesci. I don't know how I left him out. I was hanging out with Joe Pesci one day and like doing lines from like Home Alone, all kinds of weird stuff. I can't remember what I was busting his chops about. That he was like, at one point he goes, Bob, he was joking around. He's like, Bobby, get this fucking kid away from me already. He's killing me. He's breaking my balls, Bobby. Yeah, he's a good guy. He was a good guy. He's joking around, like, there was no age. They looked at us as adults, the way they spoke to us, which was cool. It was cool to have that.
And who do you still keep in contact with from the movie?
Well, I keep in contact with Lilo, Joe D'Onofrio, Patrick Borriello. We'll talk. It's mostly Instagram. Like, we don't have each other's numbers. We don't call each other every day, but we'll keep in touch. I'll reach out to Lilo. I wish him the best in the holidays. Same thing with Patrick, Joe D'Onofrio too. Lewis, I don't have him on Instagram. I don't have much social media. I have Instagram. I like it better that way. I'm really low profile. I try to stay away from social media. This is a big leap for me to be on YouTube right now talking to you, because I'm just I try to keep my life. What's a good way of putting it? When you're in the spotlight for a lot of times, like when I get into the DJing part, you kind of tend to treasure the moments that you have privacy, rather than, you're in the spotlight on things, or people just want to talk to you to say, I spoke to that guy today, or I was hanging out with that guy today. And, you really find out who your true friends are when you go off the grid.
Yeah.
But again, it humbles you. It does humble you. When I was in a funeral, for instance, I get a call from De Niro's assistant. She goes, we have a part for you. You're perfect for it. It's director Abel Ferrara. I was like, okay, cool. Let's go see what this is about. I met up with him in Union Square, and he's in a bunch of kids. I'll never forget it. And this goes to show you the politics behind acting, which, it benefited me. So, I'm not going to complain about it then, but for others. And so they wanted us all to basically, point like we have a gun and tremble and, act scared. He immediately walked over. He goes, which one's the kid from A Bronx Tale? Now I'm hearing this. He's not being nonchalant. He's like, who's the kid from Bronx Tale? The guy points. He goes, don't point. You're making it too obvious. He goes, okay, let's wrap it up with all these kids, and then we're going to pull them over on the side and talk to them. So I was like, all right, this is weird. I didn't know what the hell that meant at the time, but so we do it. He pulls me over. He goes, so look, we're going to offer you the part. You're going to play young Christopher Walken. You're going to work with them. You're going to talk to him. Are you comfortable with that? I said, absolutely. He goes, okay, I'm going to give you all the information. He was he's very quick. He goes, here's the info. Be here. I'm going to give you the script. We're going to mail it to you, and good luck. And that was it. And I got to meet with Walken. I worked 4 days on that set. I got to hang out with Walken one day. I met Benicio del Toro that day too. He was because he's in that movie. He was getting fitted, I think, for his outfit, his costume. Then I did 1 day of firearms training, which was like, the guy's like, I don't know, are you nervous firing guns? I was like a lunatic in the range. I'm like, just unloading. He's like, listen, you got to fire a little slower and try to act like nervous when you're firing because you're having a little too much fun. You're supposed to be scared. So we filmed that scene in Brooklyn. There was a naval yard. I forget the name of it, but it's decommissioned. So I shot, basically I talk Italian with not Christopher Walken, but his father. The gentleman was in Alive. I forget his character's name. But anyways, we talk Italian. He takes out a 38 special, and he's basically telling me that this bullet represents the symbol, the promise you're taking to defend your family, no matter what. And it's a very powerful scene if you think about it, because he's like, this man wants to harm us and your family. What are you going to do about it as a man? And he takes out a 38 special round. He just puts it in one cylinder. He says, if you don't kill this man today, he will come back to kill you, your family, and your mother and me. And I had to hold this gun, act nervous, and just blast off. And that was the thing. I shot a man on film, not in reality, but it felt pretty intense to see, to act that as a teenager was like, holy shit. I just, you're murdering somebody in it was like the 1915s, 1920s. So it was, it was something else. So,
Yeah, I bet me and Paul were joking about that before we went on live. I said, so you got a body, you're a murderer.
Yeah, I got a notch in my belt. I'm just waiting for the button. My wife's going to sew it on tonight.
Yeah, he'll be made any minute.
Yeah, made. You're right. That's funny. That's funny, right? Yeah, please, Jesus. I God, I can't even imagine that. Being in that life. I give those guys credit. The stress they got to live with every day.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people have asked me, which I'm sure you're going to hit me with this question. So I'll save you the anguish of trying to figure out a way of asking me, why didn't I continue acting?
Yes.
I did do some kind of, after that, there was an MTV series. This is before Jersey Shore, which I detest the Jersey Shore. I do not see it as anything regarding Italians.
Thank you.
Italian American culture. So I'm gonna fan that out. There was a series that I piloted in that was basically supposed to be different ethnicities in the 5 boroughs, and these kids all go to high school together or some form of school. Long story short, their fathers are all some form of criminal. Spoiler alert, my dad was a mob boss, and I was like the son that won a wannabe. And we were all to get together to pull together our own schemes. I think it would have went somewhere, but then they pulled the plug because they said they felt it would be a little too racy for the time. Go figure with what's out now. You know what I mean?
No.
But that was that. But I didn't have that passion. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. Acting is great. There's money. There's a lot of clout that goes with it. But it wasn't like what I had when I was DJing. Because I was just, it's, I guess, I don't want to use the term idiot savant because I'm intelligent, but as soon as I got behind the decks, it was like natural to me, like riding a bike. And
that's what I wanted to ask you about next.
Sure. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, what led you into the DJ career?
So one night I get a call from one of my friends, we're hanging out. He goes, yo, you ever heard of this place, The Tunnel? I was like, no. We were going to teen night. I was 14 years old. He was like, yo, you need to go to The Tunnel with me, man. You're going to love it. It's nuts. I was like, okay. I was like, I need an ID. He was like, don't worry about the ID. I got you an ID. He got me somebody's ID. I mean, I look nothing like this guy, but he's like, shut up and don't talk and just show them the ID. They're going to let you in. It's the good thing the tunnel's closed down, or I would have been probably burned by now in the club community. But so we get in and I'm inside and he's like, yo, I'm going to take you in the booth. I know the guys that promote this place. I go in that booth and I'm like, holy shit, this is, I love the music, but this is where I belong. And I'm watching what they're doing. And I'm fascinated. So I go home and I, at the time I was roadieing. I was doing weddings, DJing, and I guess I was kind of like an attraction because they'd be like, oh, Paul Perri from A Bronx Tale, and they get excited. I play 2 songs and then they take me off the decks. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't like this for what I'm doing. I got to be at a club. So I worked on a demo tape, and I got it out. And sure enough, some guy contacts me, real weird, on a beeper. I had a beeper at the time. This is how old it is. And he goes, how you doing? I said, I'm good. Who are you? He goes, I got your tape here. He goes, you interested in playing at Limelight? I was like, I said, who the fuck are you? He was like, I'm serious. You interested in playing at Limelight? So-and-so had referred you to me. I'm not going to mention his name. I met up with this guy, go to Limelight. He goes, I'm going to take you to your room. He goes, you're going to do the attic. And it was all like alien sculptures. It was nuts. He was like, you play 6 hours? I was like, yeah. How much are we? I was like, how much are you going to pay me? I'm just curious. He was like, how's $500 to start? I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm like, what the fuck? $500? I was like, oh man, I think I just found my calling. So I go in, yeah, Super Sod, my cousin's in it. So my name was my DJ name. I go in and I start playing, and I mean, I used to give guys a run for their money, and they'd be like, who the hell is this kid? Who's this kid doing this? And it springboarded me into going into Exit. I played at the White Room, the main floor. I just started going into all these major clubs. And as the time progressed, I mean, I was in high school, and people would be like, oh, yeah, Paul, he's a quiet kid, very quiet. I wasn't like jibber jabbery about my moonlighting the DJing. But Friday night would come, Friday, Saturday, I'm playing at like crazy after hour places. And I'm underage, but nobody gave a shit. And, you go from playing at a wedding and then showing up one night. I'll never forget this. This night was crazy. I just got back from Mexico partying in Cancun. And I get a call. Hey, how was Cancun? Great. Don't give a shit. This is my promoter. That's how he used to talk to me. He's like, hey, Paul, how you doing? How was Cancun? Great. Don't give a shit. You're booked for Webster Hall. I got you on the main floor. You're going to do 5 hours. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, it's Friday. Now, this is a Monday I got back. So I'm like, what the, like this, sweating. So I get my gear together and I'm rehearsing in my house. I had a way bigger setup than I have over here. I mean, 2 Cerwin Vega earthquakes, 2 EV eliminators, an amp system that I designed myself custom. So I'm practicing. I'm getting my stuff together. I show up to this place with my friends, my entourage. They'd come out. My friends would be like, yeah, I'm getting in for free. I'd be like, yeah, carry a record case. I don't know, do something, man. So I show up. I sit in the booth for a minute. I'm looking around. There's like 3,000-4,000 people. I'm like, okay, cool. I got to go to the bathroom. I threw my brains up like you wouldn't believe. I mean, there was a whole tray of Big Ziti in there. So I get on, and they announce me, and they go, we're bringing on Paul Perri live from the Bronx. He's been in Limelight. He's been at Exit. And now he's here live at Webster Hall. And I open up with this just bombshell of an intro I made with like helicopters. It sounded like there was a helicopter and just like lasers going off. And the next thing you know, it just boom, boom, boom. And the crowd goes nuts. I mean, girls, like you wouldn't believe. I had girls left and right. I was scooping them. And that feeling was just like, oh my God, this is where I belong. This is where I was meant to be. And my career progressed. I played in New York and Miami. I would play in Miami one time a year, for one portion of the year, Winter Music Conference. And it was just crazy, man. The lifestyle was crazy. Women, everything for free.
I know.
Yeah, I don't have to tell you, I'm preaching to the choir. And I think I told you the story. I'll share this one with you. Stephen Baldwin. So one night I go out to China Club to meet up with the promoters that I promoted me and stuff. And the promotion club the promotion network was called nightclubvip.net. They're actually still around, but they do like sheiky parties or whatever. But so I go and meet up, and you know, we're drinking. First off, I'm not even old enough to be there, but whatever. And the promoters that I'm with, they go, listen, we want to introduce you to Stephen Baldwin. He's at this table. We told him about you. He actually has one of your tapes, and he'd like to talk to you about playing at his lounge. I was like, you know, I guess we're doing this now. So I go and sit down with Stephen Baldwin, and he's with this girl that's wearing this dress that is see-through. So you can literally see her entire naked body, and she's God bless gorgeous. And he's such a down-to-earth guy. So he's talking to me, and he says, hey, I like your tape. It's really cool. He goes, it's real funky. It's cool. It's very retro and funky. He goes, so I want you to play at my club. He goes, I have one question that's very important, though. I was like, yeah, sure. I was thinking maybe pay. I don't know what the hell he's going to ask me. He goes, what do you drink? I said, pardon? He goes, what do you like, alcohol-wise? I was like, I don't know. Stoli sounds good. He goes, okay, 2 bottles will be waiting for you every night. Is that good? I was like, that's great. So every night I'd go out, there'd be 2 bottles of Stoli. It'd say reserved, my name in the booth. And I would play. I mean, and that was a wild experience because I met Ford models. It was just bizarre. Like I couldn't make some of my friends would be like, you're full of shit. Then they'd come out and they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing on the weekends? Like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell is your life about? Because you're not talking about this stuff. And, you know, it progressed. I played for 17 years, man. I really, you know, I met a lot of good people. There's a guy from Brooklyn, Sean Enck. We became really good friends playing together. What is this, Paul? What do you think of Paulie D from the Jersey Shore as a DJ?
Yeah, I want to address this. Paulie Walnuts, 1999. Thank you. I was going to read your comment anyway for a specific reason, and I'm about to get to that. But thank you for the super chat. Can you, you're as a fellow DJ, can we put to bed any misconceptions that Paulie D is any kind of DJ? Because he's not.
I'm going to, you know what? Let me use a prop. I'll use a prop to explain it.
Yeah, he's a button pusher.
And it's auto synced. He does not allow anybody in the booth when he's playing because it's this thing called it's sequenced. Everything is sequenced automatically. So literally you can hire a chimpanzee to do what he does. So no, I'm sorry, I don't recognize him. You know, hey, look, more power to him. He's making a shit ton of money, but I'm not a fraud. I'm true to the art as you are, FBS. Yeah. We don't do that. So
no, I'll tell you now too, as a guy who's more of a, like my style DJ and is closer to what Paulie D pretends to do. I've seen the guy try to mix and scratch. I literally saw a video of him in his bedroom trying to mix some stuff and do some scratching. And I'll tell you what, he is fucking terrible. The only reason Paulie G ever gets a DJ job, or Paulie D ever gets a DJ job, is because he's Paulie D. This dude is not a DJ. I get disgusted when I saw him one time. I guess he was DJing some Jersey Shore party, and he was literally playing like super mix. What do you call them? Ultra mixes and shit like that, funky mix stuff like that. Well, like the long mega mixes. That's what they're called. Mega mix. It's like a 20-30 minute mix that's already pre-mixed by a service. It's just a bunch of songs mixed together, blended with other beats, scratching added. And he was standing there and hitting buttons and playing with the faders as if he was doing it. And even people in the comments was like, you know, we have these tracks. Like, this is one track he's playing. It was, yeah, he's terrible. Terrible.
Here's a little tip for you guys out there. If you go to a club, if you see somebody pushing buttons and mixing and they're not wearing these, they're a fraud. It's very simple. And FBS will tell you.
Oh, absolutely.
You need this to hear the song that is playing aloud as well as the song you're mixing in. So if you don't have this, how are you able to do it? Andrew White, you want to know what style I play? I play house music, but true to the house music. Tribal, deep, tech house. I get funky a little bit. All depends on my mood. But at the end of the day, it's a journey. I like to start off deep and then I build it up. And that, you see, that's what I'm saying. The art has been lost with Paulie D's in this world. I'm sorry to bash him, but tell me if I'm wrong, Chris. Stop me.
No. No. That's exactly like I said. You know, the only reason I'm not using vinyl right now is because my 1200s got confiscated. But even with a controller, I do exactly what I would do with 2 turntables and a mixer. I don't use the sync button. I don't do any of that shit. I don't do any, automatic beat matching, none of that stuff. Like I do everything on my own. I'm a purist to an extent too. And it makes me sick. The art has been lost with house DJ and hip hop DJing. Yeah, you got the CDJs. Yeah.
I got no. These aren't C. Actually, these are XDJs. So what I do is I run them to a hub, and I run them to about 4 external 8 terabyte hard drives that I have my digital library. So forget the vinyls. Besides the fact that I got about 5,000-6,000 vinyls over here, I have my entire digital library. I mean, like unreleased stuff that I received. I used to get a lot of promos. Some of the stuff I have still isn't even out. My white label collection will blow your ass out. You'd be like, what the fuck is this? If I put it on,
I got a shit ton of them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You get, and that was what was cool about it, is that you'd be at a place and somebody'd be like, oh, hey, you're playing? Here's my demo. Here's my vinyl. And you'd be like, what is, no name on it, nothing.
I used to go to the music stop under the L on 86th Street. And that's where I got almost all my vinyl. Even when I was, once I moved to Pennsylvania and stuff, I would go back there every few weeks. I'd go to Brooklyn and I would go to the music stop and I'd get everything I needed. And yeah, that's where I'd say probably, at least in the 90s, 80% of my vinyl came from there.
And that was such a great spot. And there's not, you can't recreate record shopping, like going into a record store and spending like 5 hours, 6 hours of just going through vinyls, going crazy. I used to go to 8-Ball Records, Decadence, which in those 2 places, I actually knew people. I used to get like VIP treatment in 8-Ball Records. There was a girl, Sylvia. She'd see me. She was, Paul, how you doing? You playing tonight? Oh, yeah, I got some stuff that you might like. It was great. 8-Ball Records, this guy, Dennis. If you would have seen him on the street, you'd be like, there's no way that this guy owns a house music record store. This guy seemed like an average Joe, but he was a house head. He lived in the Bronx. So when he found out, he'd come by my house sometimes. He'd be like, hey, I just got an order. Are you up? Here's 3 records. Tell me what you think about them. If you could write something about them, I'm going to put them on my website. I'm like, yeah, it's great. It was a great time. I used to go to Sound Factory, by the way.
Yeah, I used to go to Upstairs Records too on Avenue X, but that's I know. That was that's from the Source magazine back in the day. In the back, they always had a page, Upstairs Records. That's where I got my first set of turntables was from there. That was a scary experience going Upstairs Records.
Well, how so?
The neighborhood, that shit was rough.
Yeah, well, yeah, that neighborhood, like, I guess whatever you bought those turntables, you must have darted to like a car or something afterwards.
Oh, yeah, I hauled ass.
You gotta, because, that neighborhood's ruthless. I think they would have stuck you up if you had a CD hanging out of your pocket. That's crazy. That's something else. And then there was Satellite Records, but all those, that's all gone now. There's no record stores anymore. It's sad.
It is. Frank C wants to know: have you ever done Tomorrowland?
No, that's way ahead of my time when I got out. I did do Winter Music Conference. So here's a tale. I guess I'll share. Puff Daddy. I don't know if you recall this, but he got it. He thought he was going to get into house music, so he worked with a DJ named Eric Murillo. He's passed away, Eric Murillo. So I got to, they brought a bunch of locals because Eric Murillo was working New York. So I was one of the locals on the card. And we played the outside of this mega club. I can't remember the name of it, but it'll dawn on me. So all the locals are outside. Inside's Eric Murillo with Puff Daddy rapping on stage. A nightmare. Horrible. He should stick to what he was good at. Anyways,
I
Yeah,
know.
dude, don't, you know what I mean? Like, you'll never hear me rapping because I don't rap and I'm not meant for that. I stick to what I know, and the house is what I know. So we're rocking outside. I mean, the whole crowd is outside, no one's inside. So Puff Daddy comes out, Sean Combs comes out with his entourage. They get on the mic and they're like, hey, everybody, you know what? Now we want everybody to come in, not just the VIPs. The VIPs weren't in there, they were outside having a good time. It was a
Yeah.
free for all. I mean, we had girls with no tops on. It was crazy. So, and then all the New York guys are screaming like, yeah, F you, go back inside. They're telling them like, get back. No one went in there. It was great. And we were rocking out. We rocked out for 24 hours. I literally got to play with this guy, Sean Inc. in Brooklyn. He's still playing. And we played till like sunrise. It was just intense. There's no way I could describe it, but the crowd, I mean, and the girls, my God, the women in the partying was just, I don't know what way to describe it. It was something else. It was such an experience. That's where my passion lied. But inevitably, the DJing is kind of in a way what saved my life. Because, and I don't want to keep jibber jabbering. I want to ask you if you want to ask anything, because I'm going to go into what. So growing up in the 90s in the Bronx was like this. You had the easy way, and then you had the hard way. And as that may sound as like very, I don't know how you could put it. I know it sounds very cut and dry, but that's the reality of it. And the easy way, meaning the easy money. And then you had the hard way where you worked a job and you did what you had to do. Now, around the time my parents got divorced, I got very rebellious. Yes, dude, Eddie Canini, I hope I pronounced your name right. Jonathan Peters, After Hours, my friend, I was at Sound Factory. I was at Vinyl for Danny Tenagli on Fridays, and then Saturdays, I'd be at Sound Factory. I always would finish my, wherever I was playing, go to Vinyl on Fridays. I'd finish where I was playing on Saturday, sometimes go and sleep 4 hours, show up to Sound Factory, and go home Sunday afternoon. I was a lunatic. My weekend started on a Thursday and ended on a Sunday night every week. Nuts. Yeah. But anyways, so I when my parents got divorced, not that I'm blaming it on that, but that threw things in a tailspin. And the guys I hung out with, my friends are good people, but you start to think that you're going to become something that you're not, and you want to become something that you're not. My name was my name, Paul Perri. That was my DJ name, to answer your question. You see things, you see what's going on, the fast money. You see the cars, you see. I was around during the social clubs when they were just kind of dying out in the Bronx, but they were still there. And you're around people, and you're around guys that you know what they're doing, and you see the respect that's given. You see what's given in the street, the respect, like people like, yo, like the world would stop for these guys. And you're like, man, you know what? I really like this. This is friggin' awesome. Look at these guys. They're dressed nice. People respect them. There's a lot of respect going on. There's a lot of loyalty among them. And that was always a big thing for me, loyalty, honor, and respect. That's what my friends, we grew up on that amongst us. It was like our pact. We're always going to be loyal to each other. We're always going to be honor one another, back each other up. And there's always a level of respect for one another. I see somebody doing something to my buddy's girlfriend's sister. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm already fist deep beating the shit out of the guy who's doing it. And that was what kind of held us together. But in the same aspect, I lost a lot of friends. I lost guys that, they did time. They went time when we were in high school. They would go to juvie. They'd come out even worse. Yeah. I went to Salesian High School. Actually, correction. I went to Fordham Prep first, but they said I wasn't Fordham material, aka they didn't like my attitude. So I got knocked up to Salesian High School, which we used to call Don Bosco Penitentiary. Our parents literally signed something that said that the brothers, the priests, could discipline you so you didn't get out of line or they'd smack the shit out of you, which was good because some of us needed it. Yeah, so a lot of guys like, a lot of guys like my graduating class are dead. They're gone, like tragically. We got a good friend of mine, my barber, who's one of my closest, another very close friend. And again, we hung out in the streets. We ran around like idiots, doing our thing, but everybody's legitimate now, doing their jobs, their careers, their businesses. But, this was a couple of years back. We had a friend of ours named Rob. Now, Rob's mom died when we were in high school, and that turned them into a tailspin of just lashing out. And he got hooked up. He was doing things. I'm not going to elaborate out of respect to Rob. Rob's no longer with us. Rob had to go away. So Rob did, I think, about 9 years. So I'm in the barber chair, and I'm talking to my friend Vinny. I'm saying, man, I said, how the fuck is Rob doing, man? Where the fuck is that guy? He goes, oh, Paul, he got out. He's doing all right, though. I said, yo, get him FaceTime this fucking guy. I want to bust his balls. And sure as shit, Rob called him. So he was like, yo, let's talk to him. So I'm talking to him. I was like, oh, Rob, how you doing? He goes, Paul Perri, you fucking animal. He used to always call me that. He goes, you sick fuck, how are you? And I was like, hey, Rob, listen, let's get together, man. I'm glad that you're out. You look good. He did. He looked really good. I said, look, let's get together. We'll go out to eat. We'll grab a drink. He says, Paul, I got to stop you right there. I don't mean no disrespect to you, but I don't drink anymore. I don't do anything. I said, he goes, I'm refraining from all substances. I really cleaned up my act. If you could just respect that. I said, absolutely, my friend, brother, I got you. I said, we could go out and have a meal and enjoy like a good night, which was great. And, we joked a little bit. So we get off the phone. I'm like, it's fucking awesome. I can't wait to see this guy. Give him a hug and a kiss. And then 4 days later, I get a phone call from my friend, the barber, Vinny. And he's like, hey, Paul, what's going on? Now, this is a guy that calls me up like loud and proud, but he was not so loud and proud. And he's like, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm home. What's up, man? What's going on? And he's like, listen, I got to tell you something. He goes, Rob's dead. I was like, what the fuck you mean he's dead? We just spoke to him. What's going on here? He goes, they found him in his brother. He was staying with his brother. He overdosed. He overdosed. He just, something he couldn't take, I guess, being out, and he died. And it was a hit to everybody because it was like, what the fuck, man? We would just talk. He was just telling me that I can't even have a drink. Please respect my wishes. And then, he overdosed, and it hurt to know something like that. That should just give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Like growing up here, I got two friends of mine that their family, they're involved. Their parents, their fathers. Now these are close friends of mine I grew up with, love them, but you just stop hanging out with them because they got involved. And it's like, out of respect for me, because they're like, Paul, you're a nice guy. They don't want to be around me in the sense of that they don't want me to be around that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll run into them. I'll go to Arthur. I'll run into them sometimes. And you're just like, what do you say to that? What can I say to you? I tell them, look, I love you. How's your family? How you doing? Look, I hope everything's all right. You can call me anytime. They're like, yeah, no, same thing. Are you good? You're straight? Everything good? I said, yeah, no, I'm good. I just, I wish you the best. But I know where they're headed. I already know where they're headed. It sucks. It sucks. And I had a couple of close calls growing up. I'm very lucky. Not like I'm going to say that I was this arch nemesis, because I wasn't, but I was stupid to think I was something I'm not, and trying to do things with my friends. And I got a lot of good friends that I'm still friends with, but we thought we were something we weren't. And how do I put this to not sound like, I want to put it in a way that it's nice, but it's not demeaning of my character. It came very close to where I could have done something to go into that direction of the easy
Yeah.
way. And I was actually stupid enough and willing to do that because I just didn't care at one point. At a time, I had almost gotten robbed one time around by my house. I had this kid, and I'm not going to say the ethnicity because I don't want people to misconstrue it. Doesn't matter. I had a bag. I had money in it. Never dealt with anything narcotics wise. That was not my thing. With distribution of narcotics, I didn't want anything to do with that life. I've seen too much of what goes on with the backstabbing. But it was whatever. It was football sheets. Who didn't do football sheets at that point? Harmless crap. But I had a guy, this kid, stick a gun in my back. And he goes, yo, give me what you got. I know what you got. Give it to me. I didn't see him. I said, fuck you. He goes, I got a gun. I'll blow you. I'll kill you. I said, and your point? He goes, you're going to die. I said, do what you got to do, man. I don't really give a shit. I said, and be honest with you, you probably should kill me because afterwards, when you take this, who this belongs to will come back to haunt you and your family. And, this kid was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? That's why my friends used to be like, Paul's not a big guy, but he's out of his fucking mind. I just, in retrospect, as a guy going on 40, that was completely stupid and reckless. That was just a reckless, stupid, outlook on life. Like, well, fuck it. I'm going to die sometime. Who gives a shit? That's a stupid outlook. I've actually seen young kids that I've tried to talk to, like that have come to me, like, just trying to put some sense into them. Like, yo, stop it. Stop it. Like, you come from a good family. You have a good head on your shoulders. Don't regress. You want to progress in life. You have choices.
Do you find that, because I know, where did the echo come from? You guys hear an echo?
No.
Okay, it seems to have gone away. I know the way I lived, and I lost a lot of friends at a very young age. A lot of my friends died in their teens and 20s from all kinds of different things. Some of them got killed, some suicides, overdoses, car accidents, a lot of different things. But, being that you grew up a similar way, my question is, do you find that when you're seeing those people, friends of yours, people at a very young age die so often and senselessly, does it almost make you feel hopeless in a way, like as if you're destined for the same type of fate? Because I know for me, it kind of did. What do you think?
I would say regret in the sense that, why didn't I do something?
Yeah.
Why am I here? What's so good about me? I honestly pondered that question in the sense of, why the hell was I so lucky? Why was I spared when they were in similar situations and then they got wrapped up, but they're not here, but I'm here? And it makes you wonder, like I want to say reflection, man. I've battled with this. I battled with this with the friends that are alive. We'll reminisce about some of the guys, funny shit, funny stories, like, being drunk, this guy, running around, like, just doing crazy shit. But then you're like, yeah, but man, I fucking miss this guy. And then you're like, you start to see a trend here. Like, man, guys are going quick. And I mean, I'm 39 years old. In the past 5 years, 7 years, survivor's guilt, you can call it that.
That's something I deal with a lot.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you on that. I feel you. I would say in the past 5 years, I've been to 7 funerals, overdoses. The one that hit the hardest, I mean, they all hurt really bad. The one was one of my close friends who was a paisan, which you know what that means. His family is from my family's town in Calabria. with Galabres. And his dad and my dad are friends. So him and I became friends. We didn't even know that, and it was just nuts. He's from Arthur. You know, and we're talking. My cousin would come in from Arizona because out there they got shit for food. So he'd come to Arthur. He's like, where's the buffet? You know, he's like me. We love to eat. He's like, dude, give me everything. Prosciutto, the Parma, mozzarella. Let's go nuts. So we'd meet up with my friend. We used to call him the mayor of Arthur Avenue. Everybody knew him. Everybody loved him. Good guy, legitimate. Never did, you know, he wasn't anything dirty. Legitimate guy, legitimate job, good guy. You know, he had his bumps in the road, but he seemed to have gotten himself straightened out with things, and he had a good job. He started dating this girl. I never met her. You know, and I talked to him. We used to play video games together. That's our kind of release. A bunch of, you know, 30 plus guys playing video games, cursing, screaming. So I had talked to him like a week. And he left me a voicemail, hysterical. He's like, "Oh, Paulie, give me a fucking ring, you motherfucker." That was his thing, like loud and obnoxious. But it was typical him, make you laugh. And I didn't know he was dealing with a problem. I didn't know. I wish I knew, and I wish I did something. And yeah, I get a phone call on a Saturday that just fucking tore through me. Yeah, I got a phone call like, you know, he's dead. So that was the phone call. It was, "Hey Paul, my friend Anthony owns a liquor store." He's like, "Hey Paul, what are you doing? Where are you?" I said, "What are you doing, you fuck?" You know, joking around. And he goes, "I gotta talk to you. Like you gotta like." He goes, "You gotta sit down." I was like, "What do you mean I gotta sit down?" I said, the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "You know, Marty's gone." I said, "Where did he go?" "What the fuck you mean he's gone? Where did he go? What, he get arrested? What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "He's dead." I said, "That's bullshit. I just spoke to him." I said, "I just spoke to the fucking guy." I said, "What the fuck?" Like, I got angry. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. It didn't register. And he's like, he's dead. He goes, "He just died." He goes, he died in his sleep. He's dead. He goes, "I wanted you to know." And, you know, one of the things I'll share with you that I was very embarrassed about for a long time in my life is anxiety. And I suffer from it severely, which is strange. I suffer from it in the sense of that I won't get anxious at a situation occurring. It's after the smoke clears. It'll hit me like a freight train. And that, like the look that my wife is in the room, she's like, "What's going on with you?" And I'm just like dead quiet, and I sit down and I'm just like this. And I was like, I said, "I think Maurizio's dead." And she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" My wife's like, "What the fuck is going on?" You know, and as time progressed, and I don't want to bash his name, it was a real rough funeral. I went to the wake, I took off. I showed up to the wake when the doors opened. I didn't go until they kicked me out. Both days I went to the funeral because I just felt like shit. And well, how do you put it? You know somebody your whole fucking life and they're dead. And you're hearing all these stories. And then I got people calling me up. How did he, you know, people I haven't spoken to in years. "Hey, Paul, how you doing?" How the fuck do you think I'm doing? My friend's dead. What kind of, like, what do you, why would you even ask me that? "Well, how did he die?" I said, "What does it matter how he died? He's fucking dead. The guy's dead." Like, you're asking me the details. Why? What does that matter? And where have you been for 20 years that you're asking these questions? You know, just to get the gossip. Now, I found out what happened to him about a year ago, a little less than a year. And he was battling with his demons. I pray to God, I wish I knew. I would have helped him. I really would have helped him. And I thought I think if I knew, I could have helped him. But you know, that time's gone. And his brother found him, his mother found him like that. It just did. I wasn't right for a little bit. I wasn't right from that. It was very difficult. You know, Chris, there's some things like, you know, you could take it, swallow it, you know, dig it deep. This hit a nerve. This hit if a piece of me got lost that day. I really mean that.
Yeah.
And then that's when
I'm sorry for your loss.
No, thank you. No, thank you. And you know, I remember him every day. I think of him. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. I'll go. You know, usually when nobody's around, I'll go off. You know, I throw a few tears out. I got a little thing that I keep my prayer cards. The guys that are gone. You know, I pray. I talk to them. Honestly, that's what really got me back into praying. Was shit going south. I've had too many brushes with that. In 2015, I got hit by a drunk driver. I almost got my life ended. A seatbelt saved my life. That's what stopped my skull from getting caved into a windshield by some drunk asshole. My spine's damaged. I got 2 herniated discs. I got a punctured disc, 3 bulging discs, nerve damage. So I'm on medication for the rest of my life just to deal with that. But you know what? I'm alive.
Yeah.
You know, the shitty part about it was the week I got my wife's engagement ring. I didn't give it to her yet. I just paid for the fucking thing. I'm like, I remember being in the emergency room person. I was like, you cocksucker. I was like, I just got my engagement ring, you son of a bitch. But, you know, that's life. But I'm alive. But these are things that make you question these. And there's been a lot of brushes with where you question. You say, why am I so lucky? You know, what the fuck am I doing here? You know, because I probably shouldn't be here. Probably should, you know, but here we are talking, right? 2 guys talking. I'm sure you can relate to what I'm saying to you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But I look at it, I mean, there's got to be a reason for it, right? Because I know I escaped death a lot of times, and, you know, people that certainly shouldn't have gone before me have. There's really no rhyme or reason, it seems like. But I guess all we could do is be grateful that we're still here.
Yeah, at one day at a time.
Yeah.
One day at a time, man. And you know, it's a battle every day with me with the pain in my back. I become like a nasty son of a bitch sometimes. I mean, I don't know how my wife puts up with me, but she's a fucking angel. Angel. I don't know how she gets me. I'd probably punch me. If I were her, I'd probably lay into me. Give me a shot to the head and be like, listen, you asshole. But she's a very caring, tender, loving person. Total opposite of me, thank God. Probably would have killed me if she was exactly like me. But you know, and then you know, with praying, it kind of, I guess, helps stabilize me in the sense of being anxious, worrying about things. You know, like I said, and you said, it puts things in perspective at the end of the day. You know, you really got to appreciate what life gives you. And you got to realize that the fast life is nothing but fast to the grave. At the end of the life, it just gets you in the ground quicker.
Yeah, thank you, Ali, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's why, you know, there's a couple of us who talk about that from time to time, you know, rather than glorifying some of this mob stuff and all that. There is no positive outcome. There just isn't. If you're involved in the street life, in any sense, it doesn't matter what city you're from. It doesn't matter what aspect of crime you're involved in. There's only a few ways it can end up, and none of them are good.
I mean, I at a young age, I'm not going to elaborate on this, but I will tell you this. I think we spoke about this. I briefly mentioned it to you on the phone. There was a time where I was hanging out once, and it was like just a quiet, regular day. And I watched these 2 guys talking, and this is across the street. And I just watched this guy like kind of lean in, like, I don't know if you recall when you go to give somebody like a pound, like a, you know, and leans in and just 3 shots in this guy's gut. Dun, dun, dun. And, you know, knees, floor, and it's like Scramble City. Everybody's like, you got to go, get the fuck out of here. And it was like a ghost town. And you're like, what the fuck just happened at a young age? And you're like, you know, that's when reality, you know, you could watch all these movies and shit. When you start seeing shit like that, That's when you're like, holy fuck, that guy's life's gone. Nothing cool about that.
No.
There was nothing cool about that.
Yeah.
You know, I got another one I could throw to you. Well, first off, I'm over here jabbering away. I don't know. Do you have any questions you want to ask me before I keep going with these dark tales?
Yeah.
Of the
Yeah,
Bronx.
I have some, absolutely. But
Sure,
you know,
please.
you're on a roll. Whatever you want to talk about.
No.
Well, I was
Please.
going to go back. It's not a big deal, and you know, I don't want to get off track. Eventually, I want to go back and ask you something else about the acting.
No,
But
take it back.
well, I just wanted to ask. Jimmy Clanger says, "My condolences. Keep praying. You're an inspiration to others. Seriously, big respect."
And Jimmy, that means a lot coming from you. I hold you in high regard. I see you're a family guy, and you're really turning your life around. And I got a lot of respect for you, my friend. Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy's a good example of somebody who did just that and turned his life around completely. So, I would, Kirk Davis, this, I got to put it up just because it's a hilarious question, but we won't get into that.
No, I'm sorry.
Paul is familiar with what's been going on lately. So,
unfortunately, I have no knowledge on that one.
No, I wanted to, and like I said, we didn't have to get off track with what you're talking about now. We can get right back to it because, you know, you're telling great stories here, and you're talking about some serious stuff that's good for people to hear because, you know, there still is certain people, whether it's right here on MobTube or just people in general, who find this life, this stupid, you know, like you said, this fast life, you know, appealing in some way. And there's nothing appealing about it whatsoever. So I'm glad to hear you telling those stories. But I just wanted to ask
Sure.
about the acting thing. One thing we didn't get to, we always talk about the movie on my show. We always talk about the movie Sleepers. And we totally left that out of your story.
Yeah, that's a good one. I apologize because you're right. I don't know why I detoured that. Thank you. So Sleepers, I auditioned for Sleepers. This came in between a Bronx Tale and Funeral. So Sleepers, can you come back? Hey, listen, if Chris wants me back, I'll come back. He's a fucking great guy, and I'm not going anywhere else but to Chris. So that's that. I'm setting a precedent right now because you're about the only guy right now I got respect. No disrespect to anybody else, but right now I'm good with Chris. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
No, you're very welcome. So Sleepers, I auditioned for it as Shakes. And a funny story with this is my elementary school friend, Joe Perrino, who is an actor. He's an established actor. So Joe Perrino goes and auditions for Sleepers too. So whatever, we're auditioning and they run you through about 2-3 auditions. Now they take you down to the final audition. And basically you're in a waiting room. There's other actors for different roles, but they usually limit it down to 2 or 3 people. Now, they told me, they're like, it's between you and another actor, so we're going to see, you know, the director wants to see how this goes. Okay. I go down there. All of a sudden, I walk in. I'm like, the fuck, Joe Perrino's here? So I go over to Joe. Joe sees me. He goes, Paul, how you doing? I said, I'm good. How you doing? He goes, yeah. He goes, we made it, man. I said, fuck yeah. He goes, what part are you doing? I said, Shakes. I said, what part are you doing? He just grins. He goes, Shakes. I said, fuck. I said, all right. Well, I said, good luck, bro. Good luck. And he goes, yeah, good luck to you too. And yeah, I did my thing. He did his thing. And Joe's a very talented actor. I got to give him that. And his passion for acting is my passion for DJing. So I respect him and support him to this day. And he's been nothing but a good friend to this day. So anyways, I get the call. I'm like, fuck, please. And they're like, listen, I'm sorry. You know, you were really good, but we had to go with the other actor. They're just the resemblance to the Jason Patrick. The mannerisms are just a little more on point, but you're very talented. And I was like, fuck. But I did see Joe and I congratulated him. I said, Joe, you know what, man? I'm happy for you. Good for you. You know, that's awesome because you deserve it. You know, hey, the best man won, and I'm not afraid to admit that, or no shame in that. You know, he did a great job, and that role sprung him into so many different directions. Sopranos, he was on for a while. He was in the show Power with 50 Cent as Vincent Ragni, the mob boss. Very fitting. He was on this show, It's Bruno, about this dog. He plays a funny character on them, and he's like a shisty neighborhood Italian pet food owner who does some shady shit. He's great. He's funny as hell. He's very diverse, and the beauty of him is he's such a down to earth guy, and we always say the same thing to each other when we meet up every year on Christmas. We'll meet up for a dinner. Him, myself, one of our other classmates, and we always say the same thing. You know, we never forgot where we came from, no matter what. We never change, and we never forget where we came from, and that's big. And he's always said to me, he says, Paul, you know, I don't have many close friends, but I got you. He goes, and you've never changed. And I said, Joe, the same is with you. You've just been from day one. He's the same guy, very humble. You know, he's just a humble, good-hearted guy, and you know, he give you the shirt off his back. He's genuine, and I don't think you're going to see too much of that in Hollywood with people like that. So we actually have a pact, him and I. If he gets an Academy Award, he's going to let me DJ his Academy Award party. So, hoping he wins.
Yeah, there you go. So I was going to ask you about, you know, is there any thoughts? Do you have any plans on maybe one day trying to get back into acting? Because I spoke to, when I interviewed Bobby Borriello Jr., you know, he basically said that, you know, it had been so long that it's, you know, extremely challenging to get back into it. And in a lot of ways, I don't even think it's something he was looking to do. So how do you feel about something like that, since it's been so long since you've acted?
I mean, I could probably still do it, because one of the benefits of working at a Bronx Tale with De Niro was Tribeca Studios. When we got the parts, he put us into his own acting classes that they had. So we literally, you know, even though the movie I'm in for a short period of time, there were more scenes, but there was a lot of education that went with that in acting, in everything, to ad-libbing, to, you know, method acting. There was all kinds of stuff. So did I enjoy it? I did enjoy it. Would I go back into it? I'll be honest with you, unless something got handed to me, probably not. My life is very good. I'm very blessed to have the career I have. I have one of those jobs where, like, you're set. You know, I hate, and I don't want to say it like that, like who the hell I am. I'm not a millionaire, but I got a great job. I got a great retirement set up. If I'm lucky, I play my cards right by 59, 60, I'm retired. Me and my wife, we're set. We're done. We can just enjoy our lives together. And that's my biggest thing, is my wife. I know it sounds cliche, but she's literally probably the one thing that's kept me together. I mean, I kind of feel bad for her, because I told her, I said, man, did you fuck up? I said, you got a broken toy when you met me.
Yeah, bro, I say the same thing to my wife every day. She knows.
You know, so
Ali
you know
wants,
what I'm talking about.
yeah, Ali wants to know, do you get paid every time that movie gets played, or is it for the top dogs only?
We do. I still get residuals. I get a percentage. I'm not making millions, Ali, but I do make money. We get, you get quarterlies, and then you get the annual. And, you know, it's a couple of bucks, and it's nice. I get that from a Bronx Tale funeral. And, you know, you make some money. Is it anything that I'm going to, like, you know, go out and buy a Mercedes? Probably not. But you know what? A few extra bucks here and there doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Well, you started talking about, you know, what you do for a living now and all that, or where you're at in life. That's what I wanted to ask you next. Where are you at this point? It's up to you if you want to talk specifically about what you do for a living. Sure. But, you know, what's life like for you now?
Sure. No, it's a great question to ask. I'm sure you know, people want to know, what the hell is this guy doing now? So I'm I'm very engineering inclined. I worked many trades. I was an apprentice engineer, local one, as a plumber. And I was on my way to go to CAD school, which is architectural design and 3D like design work for plumbing and gas works, water works. But I got laid off during the construction freeze, which sucked, but it was a blessing. So I worked in buildings. I worked my way up as one of the youngest trades manager. So manager of trades for commercial buildings for 10 years. And that got me into this job where I'm now a civil servant. I work at a college, a city college, where I am an administrative superintendent of buildings and grounds. So I'm an administrative superintendent of trades. I run trades. It's a great gig. I love the guys. I love when they talk shit to me too. But when I first started, they were like, look at this clean cut white guy. He doesn't know anything about the street. And then I start fucking the heads up because I'll start saying things like street lingo. And they'll look at me like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, listen, guy, listen, I think you're letting like the clothes and like the clean cut fool you. But like, you gotta chill it real bit. So there's a good group of guys that are very loyal, good people, very, very, like I'm talking salt of the earth, hardworking blue collar guys. And I love it. I do. Every day is great. Every day is great. It's a great gig. I love it. I really do. I'm happy with it. I'm content, and it pays the bills. It keeps the roof over our head. We're living comfortably, so I'm happy. I'm blessed with that. I appreciate what I have.
That's fantastic. So you made good either way.
Well,
that's what's important.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Wait, somebody. I got to answer this. Somebody asked about Peter Gation.
Yeah, I was just gonna. Yeah.
All right. Have I met Peter Gation? Yes. At Limelight, I did meet Peter Gation. Now, keep in mind, I don't think he was supposed to be there because he was deported, but I did meet him. And it was a very awkward introduction. It was like, oh, this is Peter Gation. I was like, how you doing, sir? Didn't shake my hand. Instead, he went, nice to meet you, Paul. Good job. And just like disappeared. I was like, okay. Don't know what the fuck that was about, but met Peter Gation, knocked that one off the list. I also met Richard Grant at Sound Factory, which is a funny story. If anybody knows about Sound Factory, FBS, are you familiar with Sound Factory?
Yes.
46. So Richard Grant, which funny fucking guy, party animal, but great guy. So I used to get the VIP treatment over there. I was supposed to play, but unfortunately the place got shut down after Giuliani rained his terror on the nightclubs. So I'm with my promoter and a couple of promoters, and we're hanging out right outside of Jonathan Peters' DJ booth. There's like a catwalk. So this is Richard Grant. He goes, hey, how you doing? Putting his arm around me. He goes, you seem like a nice guy. He goes, you're a good kid. He goes, I've heard good things about you. Hopefully we could get you at the club. He goes, oh, and by the way, and pinches my ass. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what the fuck? So my promoter grabs me like to talk to me in my ear. He puts me in a headlock. This big guy named John. I'm not going to give you his last name. He goes, that means he likes you. Just shut the fuck up. Take it. I was like this. I was like, that motherfucker. He goes, is it going to get you a spot in here? He goes, just shut the fuck up and take it. Smile and say, thank you, sir. So I was like, thanks a lot. What the fuck? You know what I mean? I was like, but you know what? He was a fun guy. He was a funny guy. He was a funny fucking guy. So that's to answer those nightclub questions. Yeah, no, but what else you got from me, Chris, in the acting thing?
Smoking Tommy $10 says great guest. Thanks, FBS. No, thank you, Smoking Tommy. And now this is all Paul here. This is I was looking forward to having him on, and this is a fantastic interview. I'm thrilled with the way this is going. So as far as the acting, I don't think I have any other questions. I was curious about your life today. You pretty much filled us in on that. And the DJ stuff is, of course, fascinating to me because I don't know if people understand. Like what I did was, I was a big deal in a small city. I was good with the hip hop DJing and stuff. I had a 7-8 year career doing that, but Paul was on a whole other level. I mean, the clubs he was playing and stuff, these are legendary places. So, you were, I think we could say, a big time DJ. I mean, this is,
Well, I was
you
a
had
little-
an impressive career.
Thank you. And I appreciate it. And I met a lot of the big name guys, Tenaglia, Victor Calderon, Chus and Sabals. I could keep going with the guys that I met. I used to actually, funny story is Boris, who's pretty popular now. I opened for him in the beginning at Discotheque. I used to open for him every Thursday at Discotheque. People were like, they dug what I was playing. They thought it was awesome. I used to get the girls going. And that was the one thing, man. I'll tell you, and my wife said downstairs, I'll say this: if you couldn't get laid as a DJ, something was wrong with you. And I mean that wholeheartedly, no disrespect to women, but let's be facts of facts. You're coming in dressed top dick, you're playing and you're getting the vibe going. These girls will go nuts,
You're a rock star.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was a lunatic. I didn't give a shit. Sometimes I jump on top of the decks, like just losing my mind, no shirt on. Not that I'm anything to look at with no shirt on, but I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's terrible. Depending on the situation you're in, it's a hard life to live, because like I was with, a woman at the time, my daughter's mother and stuff. There's a lot of temptation all around you at all times when you're in a situation like that. There's no doubt about it.
It's another world, you know what I mean? But then now, fast forward to the present day with my wife, and we've been together. We're gonna go on 10 years, like where we've met. We're on our 3rd year of marriage, and she'll say to me, "Man, you're like a boring old man. You don't like to go out. You don't like to party like crazy." I was like, "Man, if you only the amount of mileage in my body." Is like, somebody's grandfather's Cadillac that they inherited. I mean, I'm running, you know what I mean?
This is what I tell people, like, even after when I was done DJing, even when I was, drinking and stuff a lot, people would want me to go to bars and clubs, and I'd be like, you don't understand, I'm burnt out. Like, I spent years, 3-4 nights a week in bars and clubs. If I wasn't the entertainment, I was the customer. But either way, it's, just as being the entertainment, being the DJ, you're constantly around crowds of people and people drinking. And, it wears on you. You get tired of it. Like, even till this day, even if I was, still, I'm clean and sober, but if I was to go out and have a drink, if I was still drinking, I wouldn't want to do it. I might go to a quiet restaurant. I have no desire to be at a bar or a club or anything like that. I've had enough of it. I've had my fill.
And I gotta say one thing, just to say to you, I commend you on that. That you're clean. Your sobriety is an amazing accomplishment. And to anybody out there who doesn't understand that, I'm going to tell you from many friends of mine that it is a disease. It is not a person. There's no such thing as a junkie born. Nobody wants to put themselves or diminish their lives. It is a disease that wraps a hold of your emotions and your hurt and your pain to cope with it. It's self-medication of a disease. And it's a battle every day. It's a disease that doesn't go away. Every day is a new struggle. So I commend you on that wholeheartedly.
Thank you. I actually appreciate your understanding of that. Not too many people see it that way, but I appreciate you saying that. Pat Duffy says, I've seen all of your interviews, FBS, and this is the best. Thank you, Pat. Man. He's a great guest, man, without a doubt. Tommy Agro, yes, there is a lot of drinking in New York. Touring the Block says, and I agree here, he says, can we get one? He's not taken off yet. If you have time.
I'm hanging out.
I'd like for you to answer some questions from the audience. But Touring the Block says, can we get one more impression before he takes off? I love this guy. Solid guest.
Well, first off, thank you, Touring the Block. That's awesome. An impression? Who would you like me to impress? I'll try my best. I mean, I've been up since 4 o'clock, but I'll do my best. Give me something. Give me something you want me to do. I'm not going to impersonate FBS because Chris is awesome. So I wouldn't do that. I don't think I could do a good Chris.
Do you do a De Niro?
De Niro? Well, which Bobby? From what movie? What do you want?
Goodfellas.
Bobby from Good. So you want me to go with Burke?
Yeah.
Shit. You got to go with the hard ones. God damn it.
Pick anything, any De Niro role. I'll take anything.
What are you talking about over here? Huh? Tommy, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you, Tommy? Huh? What the fuck is wrong with you and your sick fucking mind? You get in the line. You get in the line. I don't believe this kid. I don't believe this fucking kid. You're a fucking madman. I don't know how good that was.
Excellent. Can we get a little more walking?
Oh man, everybody loves Christopher Walken. Well, sometimes when I'm awake, I can do walking, but can you really walk in the walking? I'm so tired, but I can walk when I want to walk. I don't even know where I am right now, FPS. Where am I? And who are you again? From where? He's a sick fucking guy. I love him.
That's fantastic. Can you do Tony Soprano?
Oh, Jesus. All right, give me a second on that one, man. Jeez, you guys are like really fucking putting me to work. All right, Tony Soprano. Uncle June, what do you want from me, Uncle June? You're a pain in my fucking ass. I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for your old fucking sick back, I'd fucking bury you in the ground with the rest of those scumbags that you grew up with. I don't have Gandolfini's high-pitched vibrato, but
I gotcha. RPMJ says I light, but we're gonna leave that. No drama today.
Come on, you know, we're looking at people with talent.
There you go. Yeah, excellent, man. I appreciate all that. Now, you want to take some questions? Because I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take anything, and out of respect, if you guys ask me something, just if it feels a little too off color, I'll just respectfully decline to answer. Just nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't ask me who I know from my neighborhood. I'm not going to mention any names.
All right. But do you know? No, I'm just.
Yeah, right. But do you
know? Yeah, whatever questions you have for Paul, put them in the comments now, and he'll be glad to answer as long as they're respectful.
Yeah, you know.
Let's see. So we're with the Vipers. There you go. There's a Sopranos line.
We're with the Vipers. Jesus Christ, that's funny. I look like somebody said I look like a young Tom Sizemore. I don't know if that's a compliment or a fuck you. Pounding the veal. Jesus Christ. All right. I like young Tom Sizemore, but
no, if they said you act, your acting is as good as Tom Sizemore was when he played John Gotti, that would be an insult.
No, he's saying I look.
No, I know.
Yeah, but the acting was atrocious. Listen, there's only one Gotti, Armando Sante. We don't talk about anybody else.
Absolutely. David S. Cameron wants to know, any children?
No, we don't have any children. We don't. Well, we have a cat. He's doing good.
You're leaving it at that, huh, for now? Just the cat.
That's it. I keep it very, short and sweet.
How old are you again?
Me, I'm 39. I'm going to be 40 next year. It's coming close. I think in another 4 months, I'll be 40.
39. Wow. Yeah, so you were, in A Bronx Tale, you were how old?
Well, 9, then 10,
Oh, okay. That
with
makes
the time
sense.
as it progressed.
Yeah.
Time flies, man. Time flies.
Yeah. It certainly does, man. I was thinking the other day, in 18 years, I'm going to be 60. That's insane.
Fucks your head up, right?
Oh, it really does.
Don't worry, I'm right behind you, because once I hit 40, it's just like a rocket.
Yeah. Pounding That Pink Veal said, no way, it's a compliment. I guess that's about the time.
All right. Well, you know what? I apologize, sir. Thank you for the compliment, then.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess we're doing good over here. See, you know what? I got to say something. It's so much better when we don't sit here and script this and we're just speaking like two guys hanging out. I think it flows more, Chris.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, see, that's the thing that's cool about you. Like, a lot of the guys I've interviewed, there's almost, there's a little intimidation factor because I didn't really speak to them or get to know them before the interview. They're just somebody who I've only seen in a movie or something. But like me and you came on the show the other night for a little bit. We've spoken a couple of times on the phone. We've texted back and forth, email, stuff like that. So I'm very comfortable with you doing this. You know what I mean? So this is
nice.
this is good. All right, let's see if we got any questions for Paul.
I'll take bizarre at this point. I'll take bizarre questions. Why not?
Let's see. How was it being a kid in school with your friends, teachers, etc. once A Bronx Tale came out? That's a good question.
Very good question. All right. So how was that? Okay. I went in elementary school. I got bullied when I was a little kid. I got bullied religiously before A Bronx Tale. And when it came out, it's weird to see some people that were like kind of sort of friendly with me. But then I had some people, like the girls used to love to pick on me. I mean, bust my chops, and as a kid, you're like, man, these girls are really mean. But then as you get older, you realize, what, they probably had a crush on me. Some of the teachers were assholes to me. They're like, he thinks he's hot shit. I'm not 10 years old. What do you think I'm hot shit? I'm not coming in like, with a Rolex and acting like who I am. I'm coming in. I was like, what did you do this summer? We had to write a report. Okay. I was in a movie. What do you mean you were in a movie? What does that mean? I was in a movie. I was in Bronx Tales with De Niro. I was working. And I don't believe, one person didn't believe it. They called my parents. My mother was like, yeah, my son did acting. Well, do you think that's a good environment to expose him to? She was like, absolutely. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Catholic school, go figure.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's funny though. It's a trip to think like just from the people I've interviewed, but then you add others too. Just that one movie, how many kids in the 5 boroughs and even like in Yonkers got famous from that movie all at the same exact time.
Lilo got discovered on Jones Beach doing De Niro impersonations. I mean, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, you got you in the Bronx, Patrick and Joseph in Brooklyn.
And Joe's awesome. Joe D'Onofrio is such an awesome guy. What a good spirit. Like, what a good guy, man. He
seems like a very good dude to me. Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah. Every interaction I've had with him, he was great on the interview. I've spoken to him once or twice since then. And I have nothing bad to say about him. That's for sure.
I'll tell you one funny story about Joe on the set of A Bronx Tale before we go any further with the questions. He used to eat like food. And one day it's my mother and I and him. He comes over, he's eating McDonald's. He goes, my mother's name's Roseanne. He go, hey, Ro, you got to try this. You got to try this double quarter pounder. It's great. He's like, come on, just take a bite. Take a bite real quick. It's good. You're going to love it. In his Joe's voice. And my mother used to laugh. She'd be like, get out of here, you fucking nut. Get out of here. And he'd be like, Paulie, you want a hamburger, right? And my mother would be like, don't eat a burger. You're going to be acting. I'm like, okay. He'd sneak me a cheeseburger. I'd be like, God, eat this fucking cheeseburger. I'm like,
that's funny. Big Bones 5768 BB wants to know favorite restaurant on Arthur Ave.
Ooh, yeah. I'll tell you this right now with my eyes closed, hands tied behind my back. Enzo's on Arthur Avenue. The original Enzo's on Arthur Avenue. You go there, you can throw my name around. They're good people. Enzo was a very close friend of my family's. That's my spot. I'm probably in there all the time with my wife. That's my spot. And you will not be disappointed. I'm not endorsing the place. I don't make a penny off of it, but I'll tell you right now, you want good Southern Italian food? There you go. Not going to complain. I promise you.
There you go.
Bang.
All right. Yankees for life. Paul, are you a Yankees fan?
If you have to ask me that question, and I live in the Bronx, my friend, of course I'm a Yankees fan. Die hard. But I'm the asshole of the family because my father and my brother are a Mets fan. So they hate on me. But you know what? Because they can't understand the pinstripe life.
I want to take a second before I forget and thank Thomas Lochner and Richard Pasanti for the Cash Apps. Richard sent one on the last show, but the show had ended by the time I got it. So thank you guys both. Let's see what other questions we have here. Can you do a Pacino from Scarface?
Yeah, I can do a Pacino from Scarface, but you guys got to understand, I'm tired, so if it sounds like shit, I apologize. Pacino from Scarface. I mean, there's just so many layers of Pacino, Hooah! He's a lunatic. That's okay, FBS. You want to come here, ask me questions like I'm some money card? Okay, we do it your way, man. We do it your
That's
way.
good. Yeah, that's excellent. Mikhail, one just wants me to say Bronx, B.
And I'll say it with you. Bronx, bro. For real. The Bronx.
Let's see if we got any other questions. I don't see any other questions yet. Let me go up a little bit here. Oh, who is your favorite DJ and who is his favorite DJ and did he ever meet Blockhead?
I've never met Blockhead. My favorite DJ, I got to stick to my roots. He's a New York legend, Danny Tenaglia. If you don't know who he is known as El Maestro. He is a house god amongst gods. So Danny Tenaglia, all the way. That's a tough question, too, because I like a lot of them, but Danny Tenaglia.
You never got into the hip hop?
So I'll tell you about with the hip hop. Me playing, no. A lot of my friends did. A lot of my friends were turntablists. Clutch, DJ Clutch, who played at Sound Factory, played the downstairs. Clutch, awesome guy out of Brooklyn. Big Ben, he's still on top. Flex, I got to hang out with Funkmaster Flex when I was playing at Exit in the main room, because then he got on. I'm over there, and at the time we were using rotary mixers. So, I'm hot shit. I'm moving around with a rotary knob mixer. Anybody who DJs knows, you got faders. Rotary knob mixer is something else. Flex gets on and gives me a high five, and yeah, son, that's what's up. That's how you do it, white boy. That's how you do it, my Italiano friend. Gives me a high five. He jumps on. He starts ripping it up with the knobs and scratching. I'm like, holy shit. This guy's got like octopus hands. And that
he's one of my favorite mixtape DJs. I got to be honest.
And you know what? He does it all by hand. He's not a push button.
He's a beast. I'll give him that. Brooklyn Bounce. Do you like the Technics 1210s, MG5s with the digital pitch control better than the classic 1200 MK2s?
Okay, good. That's an awesome tech question. I'll tell you right now, they are awesome in the sense of the pitch control, but if you're like me, I like that slight clip in between the bass when it hits on a 4x4 beat. Some people are probably like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But FBS knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When you are using a 1210 or the 1200s, the old school, when you are manually sitting there and kind of manipulating the vinyl with the pitch control and you're slowly blending it in, you get that nice crisp, like the bass just sounds, it accelerates the bass and it has that perfect like half-second delay in it. So that's my opinion. I mean, then again, I'm an old fart when it comes to DJing in a sense, but that's my thing. 1210s, there's a reason why you can't find these on sale because nobody wants to sell them. They're getting buried with me. I already told my wife, I die, they're going in the coffin. Right in the coffin.
You still play around in your house with your music, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of a mess, but I'll give you a quick tour of, my wife actually painted this for me. She does some painting. Nice. That's a ham radio, so mind that. That is a newer effects processor. I use an Allen Heath Zone 43. Allen Heath makes great, just amazing filters. And I use these. These are my digital turntables. Got them on the covers. I keep everything nice and neat. XDJ 1000s, the Techniques, That is a Pioneer effects processor, and I'll screw you. Oh, and this is the vinyl's a mess, but some of my vinyls, as you can see, a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot. That's just some of them.
Yeah, those XTJ 1000s, I believe there's a controller that's like the equivalent of those.
Yes.
Which one is that? I can't remember. Is it the DDJ 1000? No, what is it?
DDJs. The DDJ series is very similar to it.
I think the DDJ 1000 maybe the controller. I'm not sure.
It mirrors it with a Pioneer mixer built into it, which is a very good. I'm not knocking controllers. I'm just more of a standalone. I like the way these feel because they remind me of back in the day, the Pioneer CDJ platter at clubs.
Yeah.
Because I'll put that. I don't put it on like I have Denon 2600s in my house, if you can believe that, in storage. But these, like, I literally mix them like I'm mixing vinyl, and they're just so on point. They feel great when you play them, man.
What do you think about the Roland 12s?
Well, look, Roland is amazing. They're an amazing company. They put out amazing products. But that being said, I hate to say it, in my personal opinion, Pioneer dominates the market. They dominate the market on the controllers and on the digital turntables.
Yeah, I'm not thinking. Maybe I'm not thinking of Roland. What am I? The 12s. What are they? They're the turntable controller. You know what I'm talking about? I thought it was Roland.
No, Roland makes one too, but I think you're thinking of Pioneer because Pioneer put out like a Serato mixer that controls turntables and digital turntables.
No, I'm talking about the specific turntable itself. They're called 12s. It's a regular, it's like a regular turntable, just like having a 1200, but it's a controller. It's actually a controller turntable.
Oh, wow. You know what? I'm not knowledgeable in that. I'm going to have to look that up. So I don't have a response. You know what? I can't answer that. I got to look into that myself. That sounds awesome.
Let me see. It must not be not Roland.
Rain. Is it Rain?
Rain. That's right.
I know what you're talking about. Those are awesome for turntablists. If you're scratching, a buddy of mine has them. He's nasty with them.
Yeah, everybody, a lot of DJs that I've talked to recently, hip hop DJs and stuff, they went from, whatever they were using, whether they had gone to CDJs or if they were using a controller or just still using 1200s. A lot of them switched over to the Rain 12s. They love it. They say it's the best alternative.
It really, if you haven't used it, try it because it gives you that feel of like actually manipulating a physical vinyl. It has a great feel to it. So yeah, they're absolutely right. That is that's a great controller.
Yeah, now they got the Rain 1, which is the controller version of the Rain 12s. That's probably going to be my next step.
I always wanted the knob mixer. I'm a rotary control knob mixer. I have a Vestax knob mixer. That was my pride and joy when I had this studio set up in my parents' house that they wanted to kill me in the basement. I had literally a nightclub setup, 2 EV eliminators in the back, 2 Serwin Vega Earthquakes, 2 Crown mixers, and an MTX digital EQ.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the after parties I throw because my mom would go on hiatus to. She's probably going to kill me if she ever sees this video. So she would go to Southampton for the weekend. So I'd get everybody over my house for an after party and just blow up the house. I mean, ripping after hours. It was a good time.
Nice. Brooklyn. Wait a minute. Let me just see. I just had a question here for you, and then the comments moved. This is not a question, but Pat Duffy says, FPS, if you can get Paul to come back again, do it. This is our kind of guest. Absolutely. Paul is welcome on any time. This is terrific right here.
I'd be honored. And Chris, I would love to be back with you.
Absolutely. Mikkel 1 wants to know, does Paul ever get recognized from his acting or DJ times?
Yes, I have. The acting, when someone mentions it, what happens is usually somebody, like when I first started my job, somebody was like, "Oh yeah, oh you're from the Bronx. Oh yeah, hey, did you ever see that movie, A Bronx Tale? It's friggin' great." And I'll stop and look at them, and I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen it." Because I'm like, "What's your angle? Did you IMDb me?" And they're like, especially the kids, like, and I'm like, so one day I ripped into a guy that works for me. I'm like, "All right, so what's your fucking problem? Like, did you IMDb me?" He's like, whoa, no, I was just talking about the acting. I was like, I was one of those kids. He goes, no, you weren't. And now I pull up the scene. He was like, holy shit. He goes, wow, that's nuts, man. He goes, and you're my boss? I was like, well, you don't have to put it like that. I put my pants on just like you, but yeah, the DJing I have gotten, I actually have gotten more recognized with the DJing when I went to clubs, because some of the guys I used to play with still play, and they'll see me when I have been out. I went to Vegas on my brother's bachelor party, random, and we go to this club, and one of the guys that's playing is like this. He keeps eyeballing me from the booth looking down. So I was like, so he's like this to me. He gives me this. He's like, I come over, and I was like, holy shit, Anthony? He goes, Paul, what the fuck are you doing here? So it's my brother's bachelor party. He's like, dude. He goes, you're not playing anymore? I was like, nah, I got a job. I was like, I still play for myself. He was like, oh, you want to play right now? He was joking with me. I was like, I think you got this covered, guy. I mean, he was partying, doing his thing.
Yeah.
Anthony Rizzi. Yeah, another good guy. I don't know what his DJ name is, but
Yeah, I every now and then, I'll find myself in a situation where a friend, is doing something like, some event or something, and they'll mention me coming to get on for a little while. But it depends for me. I've thought about getting back to maybe starting to do private events and things like that, because I still have all the equipment and everything I need. But who knows? Maybe someday.
You should.
I've thought about it.
If you enjoy it, you should do it. I'm going to start doing some live streams of my thing. The only thing is, because I've been getting harassed by friends. I'm a ham radio operator. That's this crazy thing right here. This is all amateur radio equipment. It's one of my hobbies. I'm a licensed radio engineer. So I broadcast. Basically, I sit on my ass and I talk to people around the world via radio communication, satellite communication. So my club is like, yo, you got a DJ. We got some of your sets online. You need to stream. So I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to do it for fun, though. I'm not looking for money or anything.
Yeah.
But I'm getting harassed.
Yeah, no, I hear you. A lot of people are trying to get me to do some live streams and stuff too.
You should. I'd love to hear you play, man.
I might do that eventually.
I could see it.
Say that again.
I could see it. You got the look. Like you get into, you get into the groove, and then you get tunnel vision, and that's it. It's just
absolutely. Della's my name said, Paul, make a channel, bro. Have you thought about that?
I don't. I'll be honest with you. Can I be real with you? I didn't think people would really care to hear what I have to say, but I mean, I might do that. I mean, maybe I'll join up with you, Chris. I'll pop in here, hang out with you. If
Absolutely.
You want me to.
Of course, yeah. And look, I could tell already by the reception just through the comments, people love you. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You're definitely a hit right now. So
I got to say to anybody who's watching and writing all those good comments, I really appreciate that, because it's awesome. It's awesome that people find people like me, I guess, interesting. I don't know. I'm a humble guy. I don't really broadcast. I was nervous coming here when I wrote you that email. I was nervous even then, because I'm like, this guy, you're interviewing a lot of people that are doing a lot of things. And, I was like, but what the hell? Let's see what's the worst that can happen. He says, hey, thanks, but, yeah, we'll be in touch or something. And I was like, all right. But when you got back to me, I was like, oh, shit, this guy pulled my card.
Yeah, the first thing I said is, well, would you be willing to do an interview?
Like I said, you pulled my card. Now I got to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Tom Lochner 499 is Paul a Stern fan?
Yes, old school Howard Stern. Hell
Me
yeah.
too. I'm a Stern expert. I know all things Stern trivia without a doubt.
Oh, then I'm not even on your level.
Well, with the last few years or so, I couldn't tell you much of anything, but I'm talking about from like 2013 back. I'm pretty good. You know what I mean? The Artie
Oh.
years, I'm definitely an expert on.
You remember when he had the show on Channel 11 that only lasted like, I think it was either 9 or 11. It barely lasted like a month because it was
Yeah.
so bad. That show
Yeah.
was out of control at night.
Yeah. And in the late 90s, early 2000s, the E show.
Yeah.
Remember when he
Yeah.
was on E? That was
He's-
great too.
He's, but I like that,
Yeah. Me too.
you know.
Well, listen, Paul, it's been exactly 2 hours. I want to thank you, man. This has been excellent. I'm always surprised at how well these interviews go, but this one really went great, and I really am grateful for you coming on. I love this, and you are welcome on here at any time.
Chris, and I gotta say, I thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate it. I will be back. You couldn't pull me away. I think I had one of the best times tonight, just talking to somebody that I got to know, and I consider you a friend now. The way we shared a lot of personal stuff. The one thing I'll say is, man, just keep doing your thing. You're awesome. The way you're doing, the way you do your show, the way you conduct yourself. You're just such a broad spectrum than just MobTube, and I mean that as a compliment.
Thank you.
I really like the way you go about things, and I see great things for you, man. If I can help in any way, I'm here for you.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. It means a lot, and I appreciate. Sorry, I consider you a friend as well now, and we'll keep in touch, of course. And yeah, hopefully you can come back on soon, anytime, man. You're welcome, or we could do something else like this again.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
It was fun, man.
Yeah. Is there any social media or anything you want to promote? Anything like that?
I mean, look, I have my Instagram. There's pictures of radios and my cat and food. If you want to see that, I don't think it's anything that anybody's going to really care. I'll tell you what, I will work on making a YouTube channel, but I don't know I'll decide what kind of things I'll put up, I guess. But for now, I'll tell you this much. If you want to see me more, just come to FBS's channel, because that's where I'm going to kind of set up shop, and I'll be popping in here till I can get on my own 2 feet.
That's what I like to hear. Excellent.
I'll do that,
Any shout outs for anyone?
Yeah. All right. I got a few people if you got 2 seconds.
Go right ahead. Take your time.
I would like to, Vinny Romano, who is my barber in the Bronx. If you need a haircut, Morris Park Cuts, because the dude takes care of me. He knows how to do it right, even with my horrible caterpillar eyebrows. My cousin Dom, who's out in Florida, you're a sick fuck. I love you. And my cousin Chris, who's getting over COVID. I wish you well on a speedy recovery. How's your son doing, by the way? I forgot to ask you that. I apologize.
He's okay so far. He seems to be sailing through it, so no complaints.
God bless, man.
Yeah, everything's going well. So I feel bad for him. I feel terrible. He's a little trapped right now, but he's making the most of it. So,
well, he's young. God bless. He'll bounce back and be back to back to himself again.
Yeah.
Listen, I know you're not religious, but I'll say this to you: God bless you and your family, everybody out there. And I gotta say, one of the highlights, though, besides talking to you, I got Jimmy complimented my jogging suit.
There you go.
I could buy a happy man. I could buy a happy fucking man tonight. Jimmy Calandra has blessed me with my feel of velour, one of my many jogging suits. I'm glad I wore this thing. I'm glad
I'll tell you what you should do. Jimmy's been doing his shows on Sunday where he has people hop on. You should jump on his show, have a little conversation with him.
I didn't know if I was worthy enough, but I guess now I am. I might just do that.
Trust me, Jimmy would love to talk to you. I guarantee it.
I will take your advice. I'll try it. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely will. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, definitely. I stay on for a few minutes usually after the interviews, but thanks for coming on. I'll let you go now, and I'll give you a call or a text in a little while.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. Have a good night. Take care, everyone. Thank you again.
All right, Paul. Thank you.
Later.
Excellent. Another great interview down. Paul is fantastic. I think that's probably the most relaxed I've been through any of these interviews. He's such a good, down to earth guy. You know, he's definitely lived a pretty impressive lifestyle, or a pretty impressive life, I should say. He's done some great things, and it sounds like he still is. So I was honored to have Paul on, and I couldn't have asked for any more out of that interview. I honestly couldn't have. And thank you guys. Yeah, definitely. Very humble guy. Very good dude, man. I've spoken to him on the phone and stuff, and he's exactly like he just was on this interview. So thank you guys too, man. Everybody was real good in the chats. I didn't see a whole lot of bullshit. You guys asked some good questions. I can't do this stuff without you guys. I can take this out now. Let me just see something. Nemo says you killed it. Thank you very much. But listen, these interviews, the guest always gets all the credit as far as I'm concerned. So I'm grateful to him. That was a good, damn. I wish you would have said that earlier. You might have, and maybe I missed it. I will, next time he is on, remind me, and I will ask him, I'll ask him to do that. Steve Cutler says, great interview, FBS. This is what we need. I agree, man. I couldn't have asked for a better show after all the nonsense that's been going on lately. And I'm glad none of that came up during this. I told Paul beforehand, we're not going to, talk any drama or nothing. We're just going to have a good, a good interview and, bullshit a little bit. And it turned out, like I said, better than I thought. So, all right, I'm going to get going, guys, before I go on too long and fuck this whole thing up. So thanks for everything. I appreciate you guys. Thank you again to Paul Perri. Follow him on Instagram if you'd like, and hopefully you'll see him on here again soon. I don't know when I'll be on next. I have a lot of stuff to do in the next couple of days, but I love you guys as always. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button, and for the love of God, hit the notification bell. All right, I'll see you guys next time. I love you all. Salute.